In July of 1970, the United States Air Force carried out a test launch from the Green River site in Utah. The missile, known as Athena VC-123D, was designed to follow a controlled suborbital path, covering roughly 700 miles before descending onto the White Sands Proving Grounds in New Mexico. But during its flight, a navigational failure sent it hundreds of miles off its intended course. Instead of landing in New Mexico, the missile came down deep within the Mapimi Desert of northern Mexico, an isolated stretch of land marked by endless dunes and sparse vegetation. When recovery teams reached the crash site, they encountered conditions that defied their expectations. Radio transmissions faded without warning. Compasses failed to find north, and ordinary instruments behaved unpredictably. Later surveys revealed that this region seemed unusually poor in electromagnetic activity, a phenomenon that continues to puzzle scientists today. In time, locals began calling it La Zona del Silencio, the zone of silence. Over the following decades, this barren desert became a focal point of speculation and study. Meteorite impacts, disrupted signals, and unexplained aerial phenomena have all been reported here, giving rise to one of the most enduring scientific mysteries in the modern history of North America. Long before the Athena missile fell from the Utah sky, the barren expanse of the Mapimi Desert had already earned a strange reputation. For millennia, this remote region had been struck repeatedly by meteorites, far more often than almost anywhere else on Earth. Scientists noted that one of the most remarkable of these impacts occurred in February of 1969, a year before the Athena incident, when a brilliant fireball crossed the atmosphere and shattered over the zone of silence. Fragments of that object, known as the Allende meteorite, scattered across hundreds of square kilometers. When researchers analyzed the debris, they identified traces of curium, a heavy element that does not occur naturally on Earth. Curium is formed only through processes of extreme nuclear energy, such as those taking place inside man-made reactors, thermonuclear detonations, or within the immense fusion furnaces of stars. The discovery raised profound questions about the meteorite's origin. Some investigators proposed that it might have formed in the heart of a dying star, later propelled across space before finding its way to Earth. Others, leaning into more speculative ground, wondered if its creation had involved an advanced intelligence capable of manipulating atomic matter. Over subsequent decades, stories surrounding the desert grew denser and more layered. Local inhabitants spoke of luminous craft moving soundlessly over the horizon, and travelers described mechanical failures or lights that seemed to pulse just beyond the range of sight. By the early 21st century, the zone of silence had become synonymous with electromagnetic anomalies and unexplained phenomena. During a film expedition in 2008, residents of the nearby village of Koyame recounted encounters with strange figures emerging from beneath the desert soil, an image that would linger in local folklore. Although there is no verified evidence linking these accounts to extraterrestrial activity, the pattern remains striking. A landscape marked by frequent meteor impacts, irregular magnetic readings, and recurring reports of aerial objects. Some researchers now suggest that the region's unique geophysical properties might naturally attract cosmic debris, while others view it as a convergence point for rare atmospheric conditions. The idea that impacts from space could shape the biological or geological evolution of a planet is no longer considered implausible. In fact, many astronomers and astrobiologists study such events as central to understanding how worlds develop. Whether by coincidence or cosmic design, the desert once struck by the Allende meteorite continues to stand as one of Earth's most enigmatic crossroads between the celestial and the terrestrial. Across many civilizations, ancient traditions describe a single point within the human head as the axis of existence, a place where mind, earth, and the cosmos converge. This inner center, often envisioned as oval or egg-shaped, has appeared for millennia in art, myth, and religious symbolism. In Hindu philosophy, it is known as the bindi, or the third eye, representing insight that transcends physical vision. In Buddhist iconography, it rests on the forehead of the Buddha, a radiant emblem of awakening. Similar imagery emerges in Mesoamerican carvings and codices, where an abstract eye or oval mark is linked to communion with the divine realm. Though separated by oceans and eras, these cultures seemed to describe a single principle: the belief that human perception could extend beyond the material world toward the creative force that underlies the universe. The third eye has long stood as a symbol of enlightenment, a metaphor for the moment consciousness recognizes its unity with all existence. Ancient teachings proposed that the universe and the self mirror each other, each reflecting the same creative energy. In that vision, no life form is isolated. Every particle shares a common origin, bound to all matter, and every living being scattered across the stars. Such perspectives suggest that human awareness, rather than being confined to the brain, may be woven into a vast network of cosmic intelligence. Some researchers of comparative mythology have noted that this ancient idea parallels certain physical features of the human brain. Hidden deep within the cranial cavity lies a small, paired structure that bears an unmistakable resemblance to the cosmic egg described in sacred texts. This organ, the thalamus, consists of two symmetrical, oval masses situated at the very center of the brain. Modern neuroscience identifies it as the primary relay hub through which nearly all sensory data must pass before reaching higher processing regions in the cerebral cortex. Visual signals from the retina, auditory impulses from the ear, tactile sensations, and other incoming streams of information converge here first. The thalamus filters, integrates, and forwards them, shaping the continuous field of awareness through which human beings perceive reality. Damage to this structure often results in the loss of consciousness, emphasizing its essential role in sustaining the mind's active state. Because of this, neuroscientists frequently describe it as a gateway, the lamp or eye of the brain that keeps perception illuminated. In recent medical studies, controlled stimulation of the thalamus in comatose patients has been shown to restore certain levels of wakefulness, reinforcing the idea that this structure may be central to the phenomenon of consciousness itself. Its importance has led some cultural historians to suggest that ancient references to an inner or divine eye might have been inspired, at least in part, by an intuitive awareness of this hidden organ. Among ancient astronaut theorists, a more speculative interpretation arises. They propose that the thalamus could have been intentionally shaped, or at least symbolically represented, by advanced beings who influenced early human evolution. In this view, the egg-like form at the core of the brain might serve as a biological interface connecting humanity to higher intelligences. While such claims remain unverified, they reveal humanity's enduring attempt to link the physical and the metaphysical, the measurable and the mystical. Ancient Egyptian symbolism provides one of the most striking visual parallels to this idea. The Eye of Horus, also known as the Eye of Ra, was a sacred emblem representing healing, wisdom, and divine perception. When viewed beside the anatomical structure of the human brain, the eye's curves and lines bear a remarkable resemblance to the thalamus and its surrounding regions. The similarity has inspired both artistic fascination and scientific curiosity. Archaeological scholars acknowledge that Egyptian priests and physicians likely possessed practical knowledge of anatomy. Through ritual preparation of animal sacrifices and human mummification, they would have observed the intricate arrangement of internal organs. It is therefore plausible that the designers of the Eye of Horus motif incorporated their understanding of the brain's structure into religious art, equating physical sight with spiritual awareness. The symbol may thus represent an early synthesis of empirical observation and metaphysical interpretation, a fusion of biology and belief. From a modern standpoint, the thalamus can be seen not as evidence of extraterrestrial engineering, but as a natural outcome of evolutionary refinement. Yet the parallel between this vital organ and ancient depictions of the all-seeing eye continues to capture the imagination. It suggests that humanity's ancestors, through intuition or observation, recognized that the seat of perception lay deep within the head, and that this hidden place was linked to creation itself. Whether described as the third eye of Shiva, the luminous gaze of Buddha, or the divine vision of Horus, the message remains the same. Consciousness is not a static phenomenon, but a living bridge between body and cosmos. The thalamus, small, silent, and shaped like twin seeds of light, stands at the physical heart of that bridge. It gathers the countless signals of existence, transforming sensation into awareness, and awareness into meaning, across myth and science alike. This mysterious center continues to echo an ancient conviction that within every human being resides a spark of the universe itself, a reflection of the same creative power that first set the stars in motion. In northeastern Utah lies Uinta County, home to a 512-acre stretch of land that has become one of the most intensely investigated sites on Earth, Skinwalker Ranch. For decades, this isolated property has stood at the center of countless reports describing events that defy conventional explanation. Witnesses have documented luminous objects crossing the sky, unidentified craft hovering silently above the desert floor, and strange biological entities appearing without traceable origin. Instruments brought to the site often malfunction, and electromagnetic readings fluctuate wildly. In response to these disturbances, researchers established observation posts across the property, gathering continuous data and visual records of phenomena that appear to challenge known science. Among the scientists drawn to this investigation is Dr. Travis Taylor, an astrophysicist and aerospace engineer who has contributed to advanced research programs for the Department of Defense and NASA for nearly 2 decades. In 2019, Dr. Taylor joined the multidisciplinary team assigned to study the ongoing anomalies at Skinwalker Ranch. Through direct observation and repeated measurements, he and his colleagues began to suspect that the key to the mystery might lie beneath the surface itself, in the unusual geological structure of the Uinta Basin. The basin has long been recognized for its complex mineral composition and its history of magnetic irregularities. Within this region, researchers have documented unidentified aerial phenomena, unexplained bursts of radiant energy, and transient distortions in electrical and magnetic fields. Drilling operations conducted by the team revealed layers of rock containing unexpected materials, a composition resembling those used in advanced electronic and aerospace manufacturing. These findings suggested that the subsurface of the ranch may hold remnants of a prehistoric impact, possibly dating back 50 million years. Some geologists have proposed that an ancient meteor strike could have deposited rare elements and created localized magnetic effects that persist to this day. If accurate, such a scenario might explain at least part of the extraordinary electromagnetic activity measured across the property. Dr. Taylor and his team continue to analyze data that seem to link these geological features to the recurring phenomena observed in the skies and on the ground. In Taylor's assessment, the anomalies at Skinwalker Ranch may share a connection with other global sites known for similar electromagnetic disturbances, such as Mexico's famed Zone of Silence. Both regions display patterns of interference and energy fluctuations that could trace their origins to ancient cosmic impacts, events that, even millions of years later, continue to shape the mysterious relationship between Earth and the universe beyond. Across the planet, there exist regions where the laws of physics seem to falter, places where compasses spin aimlessly, radio signals fade into static, and travelers report lights or forms moving through the night sky. Some lie near Roosevelt, Utah. Others stretch across the deserts of Iraq or the wild interior of Australia. These zones, marked by electromagnetic disruption, share an uncanny characteristic. Most sit close to ancient meteor impact sites. In each, the same pattern emerges. Equipment fails, communication systems collapse, and witnesses describe the appearance of luminous craft or otherworldly figures. Whether these visions stem from perception, energy, or something yet unclassified, their recurrence has drawn the attention of both scientists and theorists alike. One line of investigation suggests that the meteorites themselves may play a role. When cosmic bodies collide with Earth, they release extraordinary energy, compressing minerals into exotic forms and leaving behind magnetic anomalies that can endure for millions of years. In such places, natural radiation, charged particles, and metallic elements may interact to create phenomena unfamiliar to modern science. Others have speculated that these craters might be more than random impacts, that they could represent deliberate landings or catastrophic crashes of craft from beyond our world. While no direct evidence substantiates this claim, the materials and energy signatures found at several sites remain difficult to classify, sustaining curiosity about their origins. Thousands of miles from Utah, on the sandstone cliffs of Bandiagara in Mali, West Africa, rests one of humanity's oldest living cultures, the Dogon people. Their villages cling to the rock face like extensions of the earth itself. According to archaeologists, the Dogon settled here around the 10th century after migrating from the Nile Valley. Many scholars believe their traditions preserve traces of early Egyptian cosmology, Yet the Dogon's own stories reach far deeper into the stars. In their creation narrative, the universe began within a luminous cosmic egg, the form taken by the first deity, Amma, the source of all that exists. When this divine egg opened, it scattered its contents in every direction, birthing galaxies, suns, and worlds. Within that cosmic storm came the pneumo, amphibious celestial beings who descended to Earth inside radiant, egg-shaped vessels. As they landed, the ground trembled and the air roared, a poetic echo of what modern observers might describe as the descent of spacecraft. The Dogon claimed these beings originated from Sirius, the brilliant star in the constellation Canis Major. What fascinated later researchers was that the Dogon myth referenced not only Sirius, the bright primary star visible to the naked eye, but also a smaller, unseen companion, Sirius B, a dense white dwarf, invisible without modern telescopes. Western astronomers would not confirm its existence until the mid-20th century, long after the Dogon had preserved its name in oral tradition. This astonishing correspondence inspired speculation that their astronomical knowledge might have come from an advanced source, perhaps conveyed by the very cosmic eggs described in their stories. Anthropologists interpret these accounts as allegories of cosmic birth and the transmission of knowledge. Ancient astronaut theorists, however, see them as possible recollections of actual visitations. In their view, the Dogon's cosmic egg was not merely a symbol of creation, but a memory of physical craft descending from the heavens, the same shape, they note, often reported in modern encounters with unidentified aerial phenomena. One of the most famous such encounters took place on April 24, 1964, in Socorro, New Mexico. Police Sergeant Lonnie Zamora was pursuing a speeding vehicle when he heard a sudden explosion echo across the desert. Turning toward the sound, he spotted a column of smoke rising beyond a nearby ridge. Expecting an accident, he approached the area and found himself facing an object unlike anything he had ever seen. Resting on tripod-like landing supports stood a gleaming, egg-shaped craft. Beside it, two small figures in white suits moved purposefully around the base. As Zamora drew closer, the beings abruptly entered the craft, which then lifted into the air with a burst of flame and sound, vanishing within seconds. When other officers arrived, they discovered scorched brush and symmetrical depressions in the soil, marking the points where the object had rested. Within days, investigators from the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the United States Air Force, and the nearby White Sands Missile Range converged on the site. Physical traces were documented, including impressions consistent with a heavy vehicle and residual heat patterns in the surrounding terrain. The event soon drew national attention. Among those who traveled to Socorro was Dr. J. Allen Hynek, an astronomer and consultant for the Air Force's Project Blue Book, the official program charged with cataloging and evaluating reports of unidentified flying objects. At the time, Hynek was known for his skeptical approach, often seeking atmospheric or psychological explanations for unusual sightings. Yet the Zamora case challenged his expectations. The precision of the physical evidence, the credibility of the witness, and the absence of conventional explanations led Hynek to reconsider his position. By the end of his investigation, he acknowledged that the incident involved an object of unknown origin. His gradual shift from skeptic to open-minded researcher would influence generations of scientists studying the UFO phenomenon. Internally, Project Blue Book classified the Socorro event as unexplained. A confidential memorandum prepared by Major Hector Quintanilla, the project's director, and addressed to intelligence officials, reportedly described the object as a shiny, metallic craft in the shape of an egg. Though the findings were never publicly endorsed, they circulated among high-level analysts who quietly admitted that Zamora's testimony matched radar data and secondary reports from nearby witnesses. When considered alongside ancient accounts like those of the Dogon, the Socorro encounter forms part of a much larger pattern, one that spans continents and centuries. Across both myth and modern observation, the image of the egg recurs again and again as a symbol of cosmic creation, as a vessel of light, and as a mysterious object descending from the sky. Whether it represents divine birth, alien technology, or a shared archetype of human imagination, its presence binds the stories of ancient Africa and modern America into a single continuum of wonder. In these tales, carved into stone, whispered in villages, or recorded on film, humanity confronts the same enduring mystery: the possibility that life and intelligence in the universe are far older and far closer than we have yet understood. Across deserts, cliffs, and skies, the recurring symbols of light, eggs, and celestial descent all point to one timeless human impulse: the desire to understand our place within the cosmos. Whether carved in the myths of the Dogon, witnessed in the sands of New Mexico, or studied through instruments on Skinwalker Ranch, these stories share a single thread: a recognition that Earth itself may be shaped by forces far beyond ordinary comprehension. Science seeks patterns in magnetism, radiation, and geology, while myth preserves the emotional truth of contact, the feeling that something vast and intelligent stirs beyond the visible world. Perhaps these tales are not contradictions, but complements, each describing the same mystery through different languages of knowing. In every epoch, humanity looks upward and inward, searching for the same connection between mind and star, matter and meaning. The cosmic egg, whether mythic or real, reminds us that creation may not be a single event, but an ongoing dialogue, one in which our planet and the consciousness it carries continue to evolve within the endless conversation of the universe itself.